Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and Restless official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Traci's life on the Young and the Restless descended into chaos because Alan's peculiar conduct was unlike anything she had ever witnessed in him. Because to Traci's new fiancé's schemes, half the town was actually perplexed. After hearing notification after notification and seeing some strange texts, Abby picked up Alan's phone. Traci claimed it was none of her business what was on Alan's phone when he saw her staring at it, but she only wanted to assist. Traci, poor you. She is being misled by her lover on a number of occasions. We wish to leap through the screen and place ourselves between Alan and her. We adore her that much. Traci appeared to believe Alan's explanation of why his phone was acting strangely. Don't bad guys always have an explanation for what they do? She advised Alan to buy a new phone for the time being. We are concerned for Traci because of her kind questions. Unfazed, Traci put the phone incident behind her and engaged in romantic fantasies while brainstorming ideas for her wedding to Alan. The novelist longs to return to the birthplace of Paris. Don't risk shattering our girl's heart, Alan. You are in danger, Traci. When Traci requested the business jet so she and Alan could travel to Paris to begin looking at potential wedding locations, Jack became worried. After noticing a link between Alan's unexpected texts and Sharon and Phyllis's kidnapping, Kyle stopped by out of curiosity. Alan called Traci and informed her that he had to leave for Paris without her. All right, this worries Jack even more. Is he to blame? Traci is seen attempting to justify it, but she is beginning to have some reservations. Is her ideal partner too good to be true? Is that not always the case? Wicked, permanently. Even though the Valentine's Day romance between Nick and Sharon was a fiction, the show kept giving us what we wanted, more scenes of these two star-crossed lovers together. Sharon told Nick about her experience, saying that the most ironic part was that she and Phyllis were dealing with some problems. Sharon described how she solved the problem and saved Phyllis from being poisoned. The following day, Phyllis discovered Sharon barely alive. Sharon believes she's alive because of Phyllis, even though she doesn't know why her heart stopped. For causing these two to engage in a way that permanently altered them, should we be putting Alan in a parade or sending him to jail? Because of her experience as a therapist, Sharon thoroughly investigates the events that transpired between her and Phyllis. In order to update Nick and Sharon on his investigation into the kidnapping of her and Phyllis, Chance made an appearance at Crimson Lights. We might be repeating ourselves, but it's nice to see a regular police officer back in Genoa City. In between debating whether Nick would accompany Sharon to London to see their son Noah, Nick and Sharon carried on talking about their relationship. When summer arrived and informed Nick that he needed to check up on Phyllis, Nick's booked passage sort of became irrelevant. Sharon was also worried about Phyllis's health. That's what you call advancement now. We can only hope that the experience left Sharon and Phyllis permanently altered. Reunion of mother and children. Phyllis was reunited with her children, Daniel and Summer. They were curious about their mother's whereabouts. Chance's return as a police officer is welcome. Since he is looking into the room where Phyllis and Sharon were detained, we may be certain that he is a police officer once more. Additionally, he has a gleaming badge from the Genoa City Police Department around his neck. Giving Sharon CPR to get her kicker going was something Phyllis told her children about. We couldn't get enough of Phyllis, and Sharon, for that matter, reliving their trauma, even if on soap operas, doing so can occasionally be a drag. As more people become aware of Sharon and Phyllis's link, there will be more people to remind them if, let's face it, these two resume their relationship. Could Ian Ward be held accountable for Phyllis's torture by dragging James Stenbeck, the villain from As the World Turns who repeatedly eluded death? In Phyllis's opinion, no. We'd want to see the gifted Ray Wise, the former Ian, return to the big screen, but we know who is responsible for the kidnapping. Billy received a shoulder massage from Sally, who expressed her admiration for him for taking such a big risk to save his buddies. Billy was glad to exchange his cape for a business jacket. Before they shared a kiss, Sally assured Billy that not donning a cape did not diminish her hero status. How fortunate is Billy to have such a wonderful, encouraging girlfriend. How frequently does that occur? Phyllis told Billy and Sally she was all right when she stopped by. Billy, however, was shocked to see her out and about. Really? Phyllis can't be stopped. She isn't entirely herself again, though, as evidenced by her crossed arms. How could she be? Phyllis lied and said, "I'm fine," but then she said, "I'm not fine. I want my life back. The only person who can assist me is you." As of yet, we don't believe Sally should be concerned about Phyllis re-entering Billy's life as a romantic threat. Billy assured his business partner that she was abducted and that she shouldn't worry about work. He gave Phyllis a timeout order. When she was stuck there, Phyllis shared what had helped her. Yes, her children, but what she clung to was the knowledge that she had Abbott Communications to return to. We haven't seen Phyllis this fervent since she fulfilled her dream of owning the Grand Phoenix, a hotel. Now she needs a job. Today. Billy did not disregard her needs. Billy let Phyllis down by telling her that he had released information about Abbott Communications without including her name. However, he informs her that he cannot accomplish this without her. He begs for pardon. Phyllis is unquestioning in her forgiveness. After all, he saved her life. At Crimson Lights, Summer effortlessly returned to Kyle's orbit to inform him of the kidnapping and rescue of Phyllis and Sharon. Claire came in and arranged to meet with Kyle later. Scene stealer may be a stretch, but we can't help but observe that Summer pretended that she wasn't bothered by Claire and Kyle's relationship. However, it does. She nonchalantly got her ex-husband to go on a date with her. It seems to us that she wants him back. Claire, be careful. At the GCAC, Kyle and Summer ran into Victor. Does every chair Victor sits on appear like a throne, or is it just us? Since Victor Newman loves conflict, it's uncommon to have Abbott and him in the same room without any disagreement, therefore he and Kyle spoke to one another. Devin and Nate were informed of Lily's business dealings in the record industry. How pleasant is it to see and listen to all of these business leaders talking about, business? Damien came to inquire on Amy's condition. Following what we think would be a successful and life-saving transfusion, he and Nate made the decision to travel to Chicago together to see her. Lily and Devin later caught Holden and Audra at Society enjoying a harmless drink. Lily believes that there is more to this than first appears. We're going to assume that Lily is entirely correct because she is one of Genoa City's most astute and sensible residents. However, what is happening? Keep an eye out. Unclean laundry. Adam informed his co-worker that he didn't require instruction on journalistic standards. Indeed, he stated that although they typically want to have a few sources before publishing a piece, the information he has is really reliable. He advises his colleague to publish the information on Billy and his media company as an opinion piece, or op-ed, which is short for opposite the editorial page. Hey, Billy doesn't need a lesson on journalistic norms if he is familiar with phrases like op-ed. Furthermore, unlike the annoying print newspaper days when there was no way to go back after it was in print other than to amend it in a later issue, it can always be taken or modified later. When it comes to romance, Chelsea showed up for some wine, private conversation, supper, cake, and making love to Adam, proving that Billy and Sally and Nick and Sharon are unmatched. Welcome to the journey, as it appears that Chatham is back on. Until the following week, Scoopers. Regardless of what transpires, let's hope Traci keeps all of the wedding presents she and Alan received. Traci's troubled romance. Traci Abbott, the kind-hearted and beloved member of the Abbott family, has always been a voice of reason and compassion in Genoa City. However, her relationship with Alan Laurent has thrown her into uncharted territory. Alan's recent behavior has been nothing short of baffling, leaving Traci and those around her deeply concerned. The confusion began when Abby Newman, Melissa Ordway, picked up Alan's phone and noticed a barrage of strange notifications. When Alan caught her snooping, Traci defended him, insisting it was none of Abby's business. However, Traci's gentle inquiries into Alan's odd messages revealed her growing unease. Fans of the show couldn't help but feel protective of Traci, wanting to shield her from the potential heartbreak that seemed to loom on the horizon. Alan's explanations for the mysterious notifications were smooth and calculated, as one might expect from a character with a hidden agenda. He brushed off the concerns, suggesting that the messages were nothing more than a technical glitch. Traci, ever the optimist, seemed to buy his explanation, for now. She even suggested that Alan get a new phone to avoid further issues. However, her lingering doubts were evident, and fans couldn't help but worry that Traci's trust in Alan might be misplaced. Despite the red flags, Traci remained hopeful and began planning her dream wedding to Alan. As a novelist with a romantic soul, she envisioned a Parisian ceremony, a nod to where their love story began. However, Alan's sudden decision to fly to Paris without her raised even more questions. Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, Traci's protective older brother, was understandably concerned. Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, also voiced his suspicions, drawing a connection between Alan's strange messages and the recent kidnapping of Sharon Collins, Sharon Case, and Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford. As Traci tried to explain away Alan's behavior, it became clear that her doubts were growing. Could the man of her dreams be too good to be true? Fans were left on the edge of their seats, hoping that Traci's heart wouldn't be shattered by Alan's secrets. Sharon and Phyllis, a bond forged in adversity. One of the most compelling storylines in recent episodes has been the unlikely bond formed between Sharon and Phyllis during their harrowing kidnapping ordeal. The two women, who have been rivals for years, found themselves relying on each other for survival. Sharon, with her background as a therapist, delved into the psychological aspects of their captivity, while Phyllis's resilience and resourcefulness proved invaluable. Their shared experience has left a lasting impact, and fans have been thrilled to see these two strong women supporting each other in the aftermath. Sharon recounted the details of their ordeal to Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, revealing how Phyllis had saved her life by administering CPR when her heart stopped. The irony of their situation was not lost on Sharon, who acknowledged that their shared trauma had changed them, for the better. Nick, ever the supportive ex-husband, listened intently, and the chemistry between him and Sharon was palpable. Fans have long rooted for a reunion between Nick and Sharon, and their recent scenes have only fueled that hope. Phyllis, meanwhile, reunited with her children, Summer, Allison Lanier, and Daniel, Michael Graziadei, who were eager to hear the details of her kidnapping. Phyllis's retelling of the events, including how she saved Sharon's life, was both gripping and emotional. The Abbott family's concern for Phyllis was evident, and her determination to return to work at Abbott Communications showcased her resilience. However, it was clear that Phyllis was still grappling with the trauma of her experience, and fans were left wondering how long it would take for her to fully recover. Billy and Sally, a relationship tested. Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, and Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, have been one of Genoa City's most dynamic couples, and their relationship has faced its fair share of challenges. Billy's heroic efforts to rescue Sharon and Phyllis earned him praise from Sally, who admired his bravery. However, Phyllis's return has added a layer of complexity to their relationship. When Phyllis dropped in on Billy and Sally, she assured them she was fine, but her body language told a different story. Billy, ever the compassionate friend, urged Phyllis to take time to recover, but her insistence on returning to work highlighted her determination to reclaim her life. Sally, while supportive of Billy, couldn't help but feel a twinge of concern as Phyllis leaned on him for emotional support. The history between Billy and Phyllis is complicated, and Sally's worries about their rekindled connection were understandable. However, Billy's reassurances to Sally, coupled with his commitment to their relationship, offered a glimmer of hope for fans rooting for this couple. Summer and Kyle, a love triangle brewing. Summer Newman and Kyle Abbott's relationship has been a roller coaster, and the recent episodes have hinted at a potential love triangle involving Claire Grace, Haley Aaron. Summer's casual demeanor when discussing Claire and Kyle's plans masked her true feelings, and fans couldn't help but sense that she still harbored feelings for her ex-husband. Kyle, meanwhile, seemed torn between his past with Summer and his budding connection with Claire. As Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, inserted himself into the mix, fans were left wondering how this love triangle would unfold. Adam's schemes and Chelsea's return. Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, has always been a master manipulator, and his latest scheme to discredit Billy Abbott was no exception. Adam's insistence on running a damaging story about Billy's media company, despite concerns about journalistic standards, showcased his ruthless ambition. However, his plans were momentarily derailed by the return of Chelsea Lawson, Melissa Claire Egan, who surprised him with a romantic dinner. The chemistry between Adam and Chelsea was undeniable, and their passionate reunion left fans wondering if this couple could find their way back to each other. Lily, Devon, and the business world. Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, and Devon Hamilton, Brighton James, have been navigating the complexities of the business world, with Lily updating Devon and Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, on her latest deals. The arrival of Damian Russo, Mark Pinter, added another layer of intrigue as he and Nate prepared to travel to Chicago to check on Amy, Valerie Pettiford. Meanwhile, Lily's suspicions about Holden Snyder, Scott Palmer, and Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, hinted at potential trouble ahead, keeping fans guessing about what secrets might be revealed. The Young and the Restless continues to deliver compelling storylines that keep fans invested in the lives of their favorite characters. From Traci's troubled romance with Alan to the evolving dynamics between Sharon, Phyllis, and Nick, the show has no shortage of drama. As relationships are tested, secrets are revealed, and new alliances are formed, fans can look forward to more twists and turns in the weeks to come. Whether it's the potential reunion of Nick and Sharon, the brewing love triangle between Summer,